Welcome to the Evolve Exchange. I'm Courteney Kettyle, here with Paul Fletcher, and we've got two special guests from Talkdesk, Scott and Garry. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Before we get into details, could you start by telling us a little bit about your roles and what you do at Talkdesk?
Gary's my name, or Garry Ovenell. I'm the VP of our solution engineering teams, so I look after all our technical resources that help our customers and our partners like Evolve across Europe and Asia Pac. I've been with Talkdesk almost 7 years next week, so almost 7 years.
Scott Barron, channel manager for the UK, and I do exactly that. I manage our UK channel, which consists of our strategic partners such as Evolve IP, and my job is to ensure that partners are supported completely on the go-to-market. They have everything that they need to take Talkdesk to market.
So AI is such a buzzword right now, but from your perspective, what does it really mean in the context of communication and contact centres?
Yeah, absolutely a buzzword out there today, but actually it's pretty serious in the way that it can transform the way contact centers work and generally businesses as a whole. So I always think AI not just about the contact center space, although obviously that's where we've come from, but it's really about how can we drive changes around those business processes end to end so that we adjust the outcomes that not only the contact center requires, but the business requires as well. And that's the journey we're at the beginning of at the moment. So there's a huge opportunity ahead of us with the use of AI and the technologies that are out there. And I think we're just really beginning to see the beginning of that.
It's important that we look at it in both ways, not just the interaction for customers calling into a contact centre. I think the staff who work in the contact centre as well. I think a lot of people focus on the inbound, but the impact that AI has on the staff that work within the contact centre as well. It's been pretty instrumental in shaping, how they go to work, how they're sort of trained and able to offer better service and things like that. So that's very important.
I think that's been my biggest takeaway with working with you guys is it's not just the chatbots, the talk agents, the navigator. It's the co-pilot piece and how you assist your agents whilst you're in a call, and it's actually making human interactions better by using AI, not AI replacing those human interactions. And also like the workforce management pieces, the sentiment analysis, all those pieces that the AI is doing in the background and bringing it forward and making the actual management or agent's life better in the contact center world, not just removing those annoying interactions at the beginning that everyone's like, oh yeah, I need AI because I need a chatbot to answer these questions from my website. Actually, yes, it can do that, and fine, we can do that really easily, but actually we can use AI to properly problem solve. Yep. And I think that's been my biggest eye-opener in the months that we've been working together with you guys.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, right? I'd say we're at the beginning because it's going to go outside the contact center. Well, it already is outside the contact center, but the way the AI world works is going to change in terms of we're going to move away from essentially point solutions that people are thinking about now. And so we're going to get to that point where we start using the tools joined up in essentially a networked fashion to be able to get stuff done. And if you think about, I said earlier, it's bigger than the contact center. That's beginning to happen now, which is why you've seen a lot of change in the way that we come to market. The contact center is just a given now. It has to be part of your business. You can't do without it. But if you start thinking as a business a little bit more about how can I get the workflow automated, how can I drive it, then can I bring consistency, can I then get the data out of the systems to be able to make change and drive those outcomes that those businesses need. And that's where we're going, which is really exciting to me because it means we're going to, as consumers and people, we're going to be able to get access to way more than we've got access to today.
Yeah, I think you kind of touched on it then, but the customer consciousness has changed as well. Yep. They fully expect you to have it.
Yep.
So it's, okay, you have it, how are you implementing it? What are you doing with it? And that's going to be the big change. I kind of see what you guys are doing in the contact center a little bit like how F1 changes the road car.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. In terms of the stuff that you're implementing into a contact center world will eventually become the norm in a UC world, but you're the early adopters, the early developers.
Yeah.
Much like you think self-charging hybrids, that was in F1, 10 years ago? And then now it's
pretty much
50, 60% of road cars. That's essentially where the stuff you're developing will drip feed down into the standard norm. And CCaaS and UCaaS won't be two separate things anymore.
No.
it will become one sort of well-rounded comm solution?
Yeah, I think we're also going to break outside our own businesses as well. So, ultimately every company out there doesn't rely on itself. It has a network of businesses that support it, drive it, that it requires it to do things. And so we're going to see a slight change in the way companies communicate. We're going to see a change in the way technology is used to accelerate some of those things. You mentioned about Formula One already. It's a prime example. You said yourself 10 years ago, we saw the hybrid, but as a consumer, it's taken a while for that to actually be adopted. And I was pretty much mainstream nowadays. The same is pretty much happening in the AI world, although I think it's accelerating way quicker than the car from that point of view. We've gone through the last, 12 months of people doing science experiments, ultimately, playing. There are obviously some people out there that have done some amazing stuff and are thought leaders in what they do, but most people have been dabbling. That probably changed in the last couple of months. People are now realizing that if you're going to be successful, you have to understand the bigger picture. But then you have to take measurable steps towards that success. And what does that mean? So as Talkdesk, we're looking at ourselves and saying, how do we become the consultants on that journey? How do we help people understand how to get the best out of what we're splitting through partners like yourselves without trying to boil the ocean, I suppose is a term we could use, but ultimately, but have a vision. What is that vision really, really like? Where's it going to go? And don't be frightened to have a vision that's beyond where the tech is today. It's moving so quick that in 6 months' time, we should do this blog again because it's going to be different again. Yeah. And I think, for me, from my point of view, as I said, it's an exciting market to be in at the moment because every day is different.
Those early adopters and those early science experiments, they've just touched on it and they've dabbled, but the whole point of AI, it's learnt. Mm-hmm. So actually, that time spent isn't time wasted. It's time teaching the AI, but also teaching you or us what's possible, what's not possible, what I need to tweak, what I can actually, that is an unexpected outcome. Cool. How can I change that into something that's going to be even more tangible and even more beneficial to a wider market?
I think a lot of people are struggling to grab the concept of what it potentially could do with them, to do for them. So I was trying to take things back to a simplistic view. If we forget about AI for a minute and just think of you as a business, if you employ someone, what do? You teach them, you coach them, you encourage them, you learn from the mistakes they make because they find things that are broken in your system. AI is really not really any different here at the moment. We need to take it not as a purchased technology or a done one project. It's a teaching, educating, coaching, driving, learning, adjusting, and it's the same same methodology or mentality that you have with the people that just work in your business. And if we factor that into a contact center, typically that's the agent. The beauty I have now is I can scale. I can do things out of hours that I couldn't do. I potentially have the opportunity to accelerate some of the things that I've been trying to do in the past and so forth. So it's that mentality shift that it's science experiments are normally one and done. This isn't. This is about education and coaching and seeing it as artificial intelligence as something that we're trying to learn with and grow with.
I think the development of it as well outside of the workplace makes a massive difference. So we obviously live and breathe it in our day-to-day now in work when we talk contact center, AI, things like that. But, even outside of work, it touches so many parts of our day. Everybody is, eyes are opening now. I can't, I booked a holiday using ChatGPT. It did me an itinerary, in a matter of seconds. It's incredible. So when people are, adopting it outside of work, when they go to work and there's a buying decision to be made, or, there's a sales pitch coming from one of our sellers, they kind of relate to the automation topic and the automation conversation.
So how is AI helping businesses better understand and serve their customers?
I think we're at the beginning of the journey of the main impact that this AI is going to have. So most people so far have been sort of focusing on what I would call structured data. So tables, databases, they can look up data. So accelerating things like FAQ answering, trying to work out what happened next in the process, maybe some language translations, those sort of things. So it's all those sort of value add side of things. Where we're going to go next is how do we start using the unstructured data? So what's happening within the interactions themselves, as an example, and can we learn from them to be able to drive a better understanding or a better AI or an AI agent on the front end to be able to service things even better? So, an example would be that, the people that your best people today know how to talk to people, but they know how to structure answers. They know how to find things. All that stuff that's in their heads is now being captured in the interactions they're having on a day-to-day basis. That's a fantastic source of information. It's also going to start unearthing the truth around how customers really see us. So you talked about mood insights. That's great for an understanding on that side of the customer, but how do I bring it all together and really get an impact of what's going on from a point of view of my competitors, what's going on from a point of view of the demographic of people I deal with? So that sort of information is all there. It's just in an unstructured form at the moment. So, I know we're working on how do we exploit that? How do we drive that? How do we use the data we captured? But it's going to go bigger than just the interactions. It's going to start getting into some of the other things that are sitting out there. So that's one of the areas I think we're going to see some big changes going forward.
I guess there's sort of changes in how or what customers or end customers perceive as value and customer experience when we're dealing with contact centers or whatever. And customers are starting to put so much more emphasis on that customer experience rather than the pound note. How much have I spent? Or say they're split. So if I want something that's really quick, simple, and easy, I know that's going to be dealt with by this, and that's going to be automated and it's going to be early. But the people that want to spend a little bit more, they want that customer experience. They want to feel that little bit extra special. And that's where the tools that you're talking about can make that agent more skillful, more knowledgeable, kind of have an insight into what they're about to have to answer before they're asked it to an extent. And that's going to make that customer just feel, oh, well, I spoke to Scott today. He almost knew what to answer before I even asked it. And you're just going to feel that warmth, that familiarity with that business. And that's going to drive repeat business from a sales point of view, from a customer service point of view. It might not even get to a complaint situation because you've kind of nullified it all by having the info to hand firsthand. It's gone away from, let me put you on hold and check with a colleague, that kind of thing. It's there. I'm ready to go. I'm more trained. In my kind of my side quest of my personal life compared to professional, I coach hockey as a sport, and my message to the team is continual improvement is better than an eventual perfection.
Marginal gains.
Yeah, we know all about marginal gains.
And actually, that's exactly what your tools are doing to those agents. Just every week, something that I've learned or something the AI has learned that's helping me be slightly different. It's so much better than spending 3 years training that person.
I think they're not bit part solutions either, are they? It's not. You don't sell that into a customer and then just go, right, you're all set up and leave. We're very good at revisiting that customer, looking at the data, analysing where it's seen success, what might need changing, improving, and that's all based on the data.
It's almost going back, isn't it? Right, you've implemented this. Go back 6 months later. If you picked up what this has learned, you're paying for this, right? How are you digesting the information it's giving to you? And that's almost as important as actually just giving it to them in the first place, because there is such a buzz about AI. A lot of customers, as I sort of alluded to, our conversation has changed with our end customers, but to start with at the beginning of the year is everyone's talking about AI. I need AI. What can you do with AI? Give me some AI. I need some AI, apparently.
Yeah.
And it's, okay, fine, done that. It's giving you loads of stuff.
Yeah, and you saw the stats in August. 95% of these projects all failed.
Yeah.
So if it's a Forbes magazine sometime in August.
I think it's value. So you'll have spent some time with our sellers, Paul, during a deal cycle, and we always steer the conversation around what value, what problem does your business have? So tell me your biggest pain point today. And rather than just try and plug that with a sale of a contact center seat for X amount of pounds, it's the consultative value add. We're going to fix that problem.
Yep.
And here's how we'll fix it. And it's almost as if, the price conversation comes after, because we're just here to talk to you about the value that this technology has, how powerful this technology can be for your business.
Some things aren't measurable in pound notes.
No.
Efficiencies, time back in your day, just all of that stuff is an unmeasured cost. So how can you just have a conversation around £3 over that? Do you know what I mean? It's like,
I love the way you mentioned time back in your day, because I try to break down what we're trying to do with these technologies into essentially 3 buckets. There's the customer at the end of it, and let's be honest, most contact center interactions are negative. And if I'm sitting there queuing for half an hour, that's 30 minutes I'm not spending with my children. or I'm not watching a TV program I want to watch. So from an emotional point of view, I'm already not very happy when I get to talk to someone.
Yeah.
Right. So can we fix that on the front end? Can we make it better? Can we drive it? And especially if I'm sent to the wrong person, these are easy things that you can actually drive and change quite quickly. We've talked about the agent already, helping them to feel the sense of success when they're actually on the call, stopping those transfers happening and so forth. But we do have to come back to the fact that the company needs to either make money or save money, which is really that third bucket. But I think at the moment we're in a position where cost neutral is good. Okay, so because cost neutral allows you to experiment, it allows you to understand, it allows you to build that base to exploit going forward. And it's the exploitation where we're going to see a lot of things coming back. The value is different. We can't value on just the salaries of people anymore. We can't value on the actual the cost in the contact center, because it's actually a cost around an interaction. So we need to get to that level and understand truly, how much does it really actually cost to spend that 20 minutes fixing my problem? Okay, and then that will give us a bit better of an understanding in terms of how we go forward. There's going to be a change in the way these technologies are licensed. So we're going to see that coming over the next 6, 12, 18 months, because people are going to move away from license basing, should we say, and move into more of an interaction / outcome basing, whatever that looks like. I've no idea.
Pricing structures are almost going to go full circle, aren't they?
It is, yeah.
Back to sort of the lines and calls era. You're paying for your usage, because
exactly.
you can't put I don't know how much AI is costing me.
No,
because of power consumptions and X, Y, and Z. If Google is spending billions on billions on power plants, that's where the biggest drain is.
You're probably off track here, but ultimately, I did say to my son the other day when he was on ChatGPT, I said, "Do you know what happens when you do that?" And he went, "What do you mean?" I said, "It's going to a very big farm and using a lot of power." He's like, "Oh, no, it's magic." I'm like, "All right." So, but I think you're right. People don't really understand completely. It's a computer somewhere, and it's not a cheap computer.
Yeah.
So
the contact centres have changed dramatically in the last few years already. How's that transformation going to accelerate with further use of AI?
I think it's always good to realise how far it's come to date already. I mean, my first exposure to contact centres, if I think about it, is, like a big call centre, 400 people in lines of desks raising their hand with a supervisor running over. Then COVID kind of modelled it into the anywhere worker. Agents were sat at home with a cup of coffee in their kitchens during the working day. And now, we're leading towards this point where, it won't even be a human. It'll be fully automated interactions by AI agents. And, it's testament to how far the technology's come. But ultimately, it's all geared around getting the best outcome for customers. Automating, enabling, first time resolution, first call resolution, things like that.
I think we actually know where it's going to end up, but we can talk a bit about the speed of what's happened so far. But I think we're all beginning to get used to AI agents in the form of chatbots or maybe some voice agents now. I think that's just beginning to happen. We're still accepting it, and we've got some great stories that we can talk about around some of the customers out there and what they're doing. But ultimately, I think, we're going to get to a point where that will become mainstream. I think that's going to happen very quickly into next year. And then we're going to see the rise of the orchestration platforms in terms of the cross functional, should we say? So AI talking to AI. AI isn't one thing; it's multiple things. Just like a contact center is multiple things, or just like a team of people you bring together to solve a problem, right? So you need different skills at different times. So we're going to see AI agents talking to AI agents. I did read an article actually that's happening today where people are getting AI to talk to the AI to solve a problem for them. So it's beginning to happen. So out there, but ultimately, the world is going to become more networked in terms of where we're at, and it's going to be about how does data move around, how does it get used, how does it get solved quicker, those sort of things. I don't think we're ever going to see the human disappear. There's always going to be some level of human, definitely in the medium term. I can't talk about the long term. So, but there's always going to be that oversight that's going to be required. But we are going to see the role we play change.
One thing that's going to kind of drive it forward is going to be consumer consciousness of AI as well. We've already seen it in the differences of how people Google stuff. How Google AI is taking over at the top of a search. People aren't searching telecoms reseller Dorset. It's they will start searching for what they actually, I'm looking for a cloud-hosted telephony system that will do X, Y, and Z. And then the AI is giving back those search results. I think the more that those soft AI things are being drip-fed into the everyday consciousness, the more people that will then be happy to speak with an AI chatbot or an AI voice bot, because we can't hide from it. There are a generation of people, I don't want to talk to a robot, I just want to talk to a human.
Yeah.
As that agentic AI comes better and is more human-like, and actually they're subjected to more AI subconsciously they're not actually necessarily aware of,
Yep.
that acceptance from the consumer will go up, which will also then make businesses braver in making those AI decisions, I think.
Yeah, I think your example's absolutely great. I want to do X, Y, and Z. This is your options. We're just saying, can you just go sort option 1 for me, please? And it will just go do it. Okay, and that's an AI agent talking to an AI agent to go and do various things. And it will get to the point where you say, I need a flight to New York. Can you just find the best one? Don't use these airlines, and can you book it? And here's my credit card details. I'll come back a few minutes later and say it's done. Okay, so we're coming to that world very, very quickly. And so us as humans are not going to spend time doing things. We're going to have people really doing the shopping for us, and it's just going to turn up. Yeah. Really booking our flights, our hotels, our travel, solving things for us that are multi-step rather than the single step, which is roughly where we're at the moment. So it's going to be fun.
So how do Evolve IP and Talkdesk work together to make these technologies accessible for partners and customers?
I think that's a really, really, really important point. Actually, is that no one tech is the right. Okay, we're a vendor. Okay, we do what we do really, really well, and you guys bring more to the table than just that. So there are things that are required to deliver a proper solution. So yeah, we may come in and talk to customers about what we do, but in the grander scheme of things, there is a whole bunch of stuff going on around the outside. There are other skills required out there to really solve some of these end-to-end problems, right? So you give us two things. One, you give the customer the ability to be able to get everything that they need to solve the issue. You also give us access to great people as well in the areas that we don't know. Okay, so, and there's going to come a point where we're going to have to do some integration work, or we're going to have to do some techie stuff underneath where we're going to need help, and we're going to come to people like yourselves to find out who we should be using as part of those solutions. So, and that's just, to me, sensible and something that we have to do as a business, right? So, vital in my opinion, in terms of the success that our customers are going to have if they're going to, as they go down these journeys.
I think we've got some shining examples of what Gary said there, that we've not only got in flight, but we've already seen success from. Yep. So, the partnership in, the last nearly 12 months to go from where we started to where we are today is incredible. And that's only down to the points that Gary raises, the skill sets, the people, the knowledge, obviously, of the technology from our standpoint, but from the customers and the market from yours. You combine that together, and it's a recipe for success, and we're seeing that.
Yeah, I think from our partners' point of view, and not to put words in their mouth, but it's kind of making sure that there is one ecosystem that they're comfortable in. They know is going to tick this, and this, and it's not looking at it secular. They are coming to a single point, and they are getting everything integrated into one large solution that's going to fulfill every requirement, or nearly every requirement, within the tender process, and not, okay, well, that bit I can procure from this business, and this bit I'll go and procure from that business. It's it's knowing that there's one central ecosystem that is unified, combined, and deliverable at scale. We can talk about recent wins, but we've done from single number deployments to triple digit deployments, and that's the scalability of working in collaboration with you guys.
One big thing I always champion when I work with a team as well is the ease of doing business is so important. It can't be a disruptive, fragmented experience when you introduce us to a customer and we come on calls and it's bit part and it's not aligned and things like that. So the ability to make that process nice and simple, make the buying journey as easy as possible for the customer. That's one thing we've really kind of landed on and seen success from, is just how we take the best of both businesses and we take that into the partner community, Evolve, and yeah, it's been incredible to see how well that's landed.
So there's often a lot of fear around AI replacing jobs. How do you see it enhancing it rather than replacing human roles?
Yeah, so this is about, I agree. There's a lot of fear out there. And I don't think it's going to replace, it's going to change. Okay. It's going to be there to enhance. People are going to be upskilled to do different things. Okay. Some of those mundane things we hate day in, day out, are going to disappear. Don't get me wrong. They still need to be achieved, but it's repetitive stuff. So just like people use ChatGPT today or Gemini or Grok or whichever your favorite AI solution is out there today, right? So ultimately, we're going to upskill people to be able to do more. But the human's always going to be, at least for the medium term anyway, a crucial part of that. So I think we'll see companies grow. They may not hire so many people, but ultimately they're not going to get rid of people, I don't believe. Now, that's contradicting to what's been said in the market out there, but there are plenty of stories where people have thought they're going to solve it and then they've had to go back to hiring again. So ultimately, the contact center space is interesting from that point of view, but I think business as a whole are going to change.
You look at the hospitality space in general, but if you can take away that, say the room service need of someone having to answer the phone to take the order, to say, yes, I can make you a cheeseburger, sir, no problem at all, sir, and just have it delivered, the order time scale comes down. You can then process more orders. People are then going, oh, this hotel's great to stay. Or the receptionist can be more present to the guests that are arriving, or etc. They're not caught on the telephone going, oh, yeah, no problem, yeah, I can sort you out a late check-in, don't worry about that kind of scenario. That can all be taken away of. That's not replacing somebody. That's just giving them more time to be more present with the customer that's directly in front of them. Yeah. And we're using, and as you said, people see contact centers as 400 people sat in a row with a turret, hand up, headset on. Yeah, that's not the contact center these days.
Not anymore. No.
Contact center is everywhere.
I'd say it's using the technology to elevate the human behind it. So let the technology do that, and like you said, for the human to give the better service over the top. All right, so you reduce the frequent, the mundane, and you allow the human to be more responsive to the actual requirements and what are needed, what AI cannot do. And especially in hospitality, that service level and things like that, if they're not, doing the same task 20, 30, 40 times a day, it's going to make their experience, their work ethic, their day-to-day much better. And maybe you'll check into a hotel and somebody might have a smile on their face.
So what advice would you give to an organisation who wants to start using AI but aren't really sure where to start?
Talk to someone. They can help them get started. More than happy to have conversations, obviously, but you have to start at some point. This is one of those shifts in the market that if you don't get on board, you'll get left behind.
It's not an if, it's a when.
It's a when. So when needs to be sooner rather than later. It's not coming slowly. This has happened in the past in the world. If you go back through technology, we've gone through phases. I think the biggest example is BlackBerry versus the iPhone, and we all know what happened there. And that happened over a period of about 3 years. From the moment the iPhone was released, BlackBerry went from around 40% market share to nothing in 3 years. So you've got to get on board with the tech, right? And that was a tech shift. Okay, it was a fundamental change in the way we did things. We still did the same things, we just did them differently. And so you have to get in there and go. So those science experiments, my advice is you have to do them, but do them with a bit more thought. Measure the outcome, learn from the outcome, and then adjust, but keep going. Okay, the technology is moving so quickly that when you run your experiment again, potentially it will get a different result, even with the same parameters. So, don't be frightened to fail. Okay, and I come back to my analogy. It's just another agent if you think about it, and those agents fail on the first day, the third day, the second day. They make mistakes, so you are going to make mistakes. Just look for them, learn from them, adjust, and carry on going.
Speak to your technology providers, your people you trust. I think trying to go out to market independently, I don't know if anyone's done it, but if you go out there now and look at the number of AI companies out there, it's overwhelming, right? So you need to make sure you're working with a trusted technology partner, such as Evolve and Talkdesk, and take the guidance. You'll learn. Don't be scared. Like Garry said, don't be scared. Put the trust in it. and trial, test. Learn learn it as quickly as you can,
Be curious.
but on the smaller scale.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Be curious.
Curious,
So, take it, try it, break it, bend it. It can always be fixed. But I think you've got to make sure that you're consulting. There's lots and lots of business out there.
Yeah, this is not like tech where if you configure it wrong, it's a few switches and buttons that you adjust. This is a living, breathing thing that's growing. And the reality is the suppliers are learning as well. So you're not looking for a vendor that's going to just sell you something and run. You're looking for someone who's going to partner in the outcomes or success of the outcomes. And, that's a shift Talkdesk has gone through. When we sit down now, we talk about what are we trying to achieve? Okay, you want to achieve X. It's a big leap. Why don't let's do A, B, and C, right? And if we hit A, B, and C, then we know we're on the right path to X. Okay, but how do we then share those victories together? Because we want to learn as much as you want to learn, right? So, and we're good at our tech, but ultimately you're good at your business. So how do we merge those things together? Because nowadays it's not about ticking boxes and flicking switches. It's all very, should we say, well, it's all written, and it's all about how you do things, how you prompt, how you drive the conversation with the tech to get it to do what you want to do. And sometimes, you're going to make mistakes. Don't be frightened of that.
Yeah, I think you've both said it in that chat and in a further questions, but be invested in the outcome.
Yes, the outcome is so important these days. You can't just do something for the sake of doing something.
Don't put something in there to our partners. If you're implementing something, go back 2 months, 3 months, 8 months.
Yeah.
Is it still delivering what it was there for in the first place? If it's not, it is. How can you take it that bit further as well?
Yep.
You need to be invested in the outcome. It will never be a technology you can just put in and leave.
It's got to be the opening question, hasn't it? You take it right back to the discovery phase of the deal. What are you trying to achieve?
Yeah.
What's the pain point? What's the problem? The biggest problem in your business today?
And how do you measure success?
Yeah. And then obviously we can work out how to fix
You've
it.
got to measure it.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Okay, that will tell you if you failed, that will tell you if you succeed, that will tell you where to go next.
Yep.
So, and a lot of people forget that.
So you talked about a lot of the long term, medium term, but what do you see as like the biggest opportunities for AI in the next 2 to 3 years within the CCaaS and customer experience?
I think 2 to 3 years is long term. To be honest, it's so quick. We're going to be having a completely different conversation in 6 months' time. So we talked a bit about being able to really use the unstructured data. That's going to be massive next year. It's massive now, but it's going to become more mainstream. We're seeing a lot of that out there. The whole rise of the orchestration platforms, of which we are one of those platforms, that's going to start dominating, and we're going to see true agentic-driven end-to-end business processes automated. So, which are going to span not just the contact center, they're going to go outside of that. So that's all going to happen in the next 6 months.
And how do you see partnerships between technology providers like Evolve IP and Talkdesk continuing to drive innovation in this space?
That's a great question, actually. I think we have to continue building our relationships and continue talking, continue challenging each other, and continue taking our joint customers on the journey with us, right? And some will fall off, we'll get new ones to jump on. It's the usual way we go forward, right? But ultimately, we're not going to stand still. So you guys can't stand still either. So we have to go together, right? And we're going to make mistakes even as a partnership going forward, but we have to be open, honest, put them on a table, work it out, and go from there, right? So it's the relationships are going to change because we're not going to be talking about just tech anymore. We're going to be talking about how do we best do that.
Yeah, I think it's right. It's constantly bringing the insights of each other's scope together.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are seeing one thing, we'll be seeing another in terms of our relationships and our direct relationships with partners and then customers. It's bringing that together, making sure everything is always on the table to talk through, learn from, discover and build new and exciting, but also fixing and resolving other things may not have been an outcome previously.
I think we're at a transformational when it comes to business transformations here. But the difference now is that people aren't going to do this. We're going to do this with AI, and it's going to be telling us how to transform. So that's where we're going to get to. And the processes we've always used, they're not going to work. The way we've done stuff in the past is not going to work. So we have to be critical and we have to adapt and change. And someone said to me not so long ago, actually, the most successful people will be the people that can adjust to that change the quickest. And so we just have to well, we have to embrace what's coming. And if we don't, we'll get left behind.
And finally, where can our listeners find out more of Talkdesk?
Yeah, obviously go to Evolve IP, speak to them. Obviously they can facilitate the meetings and bring the specialists in. We've got a very sort of slick process now on how we work together, how we go to market together. It's very consultative, it's very strategic. So yeah, we've got all the tools between the two of us to support customers in all areas.
Well, that's it for today's episode on the Evolve Exchange. I'm Courteney Kettyle, here with Paul Fletcher, and thank you, Scott and Garry, for joining us.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.